Yeah, I think that's started. Right. On the agenda was introductions. Now there's way too many of us, which is great to see. But I thought it would really might be useful to actually use the chat function. Please do introduce yourself, put an email in there as well, where you're coming from. I think part of the whole Great Mental Health Day spirit is actually about trying to sort of help create a platform and a way for people to come together and share sort of resources, share ideas, and particularly around sort of the organisations at a local level that are providing great regular and consistent support for Londoners. So yeah, do use this as an opportunity to sort of introduce yourselves in the chat, and hopefully that might just instigate some conversations that may take place outside of this as well. But I'm James Ludley. I lead communications for Thrive London. I'm joined by a couple of colleagues here this morning as well. Thrive London have been facilitating Great Mental Health Day. This will be the 5th year that we've been doing that. It was an initiative that started in Haringey. Delighted this morning that Chantelle's going to join us from Haringey Public Health Team to talk through some of their plans as well. And really just wanted this webinar this morning to be an opportunity to instill a little bit of ideas, get a sense of what people are thinking about doing this year for Great Mental Health Day, but also just to do a bit of a recap. It may be something that's new or not as familiar for people. So this we'll start there. We'll start at the top and we'll introduce it more fully now. So I've got a few slides, but I don't want to do web PowerPoint, but we will share a few with you now, just to sort of talk through a bit of the background. Connection at my end is snail pace this morning. I think it might be the weather, but bear with me. And if you do any questions or anything during, do feel free to just pop up a hand and come on in. Really want to kind of keep this as conversational as possible. It's kind of a session this morning just to sort of, as I say, kickstart any ideas and really just to tackle any queries or questions you might have as well. So hopefully that is slowly but surely starting to share. People, Daniel may be able to give me a thumbs up if that is visible at your end. Okay, that looks like it started. Yep, so Bill, thank you, Daniel. Right, so London's Great Mental Health Day. We're returning this year. It's always the last Friday of the month. This year that falls on Friday, the 30th of January, 2026. It's 21 days away, and I know that because there is a rather unnerving countdown clock on the Thrive London website that I'm pretty much staring at daily. But it's not that far off. It is hopefully something that people would have already had a little bit in the diary or an awareness that it was coming. But if not, don't worry, because there's still plenty of time to think about some ideas for what might happen. But what is Great Mental Health Day? So Great Mental Health Day is a London regional event. It's a platform fundamentally to help sort of raise the profile of what's already happening at a community level that's supporting the mental health and well-being of Londoners. It's looking at services, groups. Quite often, actually, it's things that aren't what we would sort of consider core mental health offers. It's actually stuff that's supporting people to stay well, but not necessarily from a sort of core mental health framing. It provides opportunities for Londoners to learn more about what's happening locally. This is kind of I guess the USP for Great Mental Health Day. It's not our event, it's your event, and actually we really want you to sort of use the day and the platform to share what you're up to. Again, not necessarily creating anything new. It could be stuff that's already happening and providing a platform to talk about that. And finally, and most fundamentally as well, it's an opportunity to open up conversations and talk about mental health and try and reduce the stigma around that as well, particularly at a point in the year which can be more difficult and challenging for people. We're on the other side of the festive break. There's a sort of cost of living considerations. There's wider pressures and stresses on people at the moment, and this time of year can often be challenging. So that's why it's sort of set at the end of January as well. That's the overall theme. Underpinning that this year is our theming around celebrating everyday spaces. So we're focusing on the support networks that don't always look like services and trying to sort of break down or I guess acknowledge that actually a lot of people in London are getting support from things that are much closer to home than maybe they realise, that are essential sanctuaries where people feel safe enough to actually ask that first point and say I need help, or can I find some support, or where might I go for support? And actually, it's a celebration of the individuals and the people who, time and time again, are holding open those spaces and showing up for others in their community. And as I say, it's often the first step that people take towards them maybe finding further support or other more clinical intervention, perhaps, or other things that may support them. But fundamentally, it's an opportunity to talk about those everyday spaces. So whether it's the community choir in Tottenham, the football team in Lambeth, or a shared community hall in Newham. And there's a great blog on the Thrive London website. We can put a link in the chat where Chantelle talks a little bit more about that and reflects on that as well. So how can you get involved? There's multiple ways. This is a screenshot from the website, and I think sometimes this is sort of an easiest place to start. So there's three pillars, I suppose, should we call it that? The first is the supporters pack. So this is kind of our toolkit, our sort of offer to everybody to effectively be able to promote and talk about Great Mental Health Day through your own channels, whether that's social media, newsletters, printed channels. That's coming really soon. I think hopefully in the background here, but I can't quite see the participants, but Kim Boyle is we're working closely with Kim to help sort of develop the supporters pack, and that will be coming online probably by Tuesday, end of Tuesday next week, if not a little bit sooner. It's almost there. The bit that sits alongside, it's in two parts. If you're familiar with this from previous years, there's the outline of what's happening and so forth, but then behind that is a social media toolkit, which effectively will give you some suggested copy and some assets and things that you might want to use and share to help promote that through those channels. If you haven't already, if you sign up to our newsletter, we can put a link in the chat for that as well. We'll share that through the newsletter when that goes live for everybody. So that's the first bit. The second bit is actually our interactive map of London. This is always a popular feature on the website. If you've got something happening that is more localized, if it is more geographically based, then that's where we can put the details of that. So it's by borough at the moment, but if your activity or organization works across multiple boroughs, we can put it in different ways. Thanks, Kim, for putting that in the chat. And then, yeah, effectively, we'll talk through a bit in a minute around how you can sort of submit things to go onto the map pages. The map pages are currently locked as they were for Great Mental Health Day 2025, but by the end of today, they will be refreshed and back to a sort of open platform for 2026. So do start having a think about content for us to put on there, and we can get those up and loaded. And then the third place is kind of a sort of open access anytime, maybe something that's more online or more regional, that's not as linked to a sort of a borough, shall we say. So at the moment, if you follow that link through, you'll come across some of our training offers. These are really, it's something we'll come on to in a minute, but this is again something we're really keen for Great Mental Health Day to be a platform to promote. So we've got some really great training offers that are free, open access, that we know loads of people are already taking, but Great Mental Health Day is an opportunity to reshare those and promote those. If there are any other webinars that take place on the day, then that's where those webinars will sit in the registration for that. For example, we're in conversations about setting up a suicide prevention training and learning session with the Zero Suicide Alliance that will take place on Great Mental Health Day this year. When those details are available, that will sit on that page, and we can share that through other channels as well. So a quick recap, and we'll share these slides out after as well. You can download the supporters pack from next week. Let people know it's happening. Fundamentally, Great Mental Health Day is something that we have created in London for London. If we don't tell people about it, they don't know it's happening. So that's kind of my key message here as well. You can't build something and expect people to come. Actually, we need to make sure people are aware of it. And the supporters pack and the communications toolkit will do that. And then actually use it. Hopefully people are, we're in the 5th year now, but do use it for hopefully what we intended it for. It's raising awareness of what you're already doing. There's so much great work already happening across London at a local level, and this is an opportunity to really just shout about that. Maybe highlight individuals if that's appropriate, or highlight particular organisations or services. If there's something that maybe there's greater capacity and they're looking to try and boost people coming through, then that's something that could again feature as part of that. The training offers, as we talked about, I mean, one of the key ones in here is the trauma-informed practice training. There are some new resources to help promote that as well, so we can share that separately, but effectively, this is a really well used training offer. It's developed by Dr Nicola Lester. And actually, it fundamentally is helping those who are supporting others in the community to do that. Now, in terms of the map, so we'll share this around after as promised, but effectively we're looking for 6 things really to help try and streamline the process at our end. So if you are organising something, you can send it direct to the info@thrivelondon.co.uk email address. There's also a form on the front of the homepage as well. And we're looking for event title, event time, the location address, or the online registration details, a brief description. Some boroughs do find that there's quite a bit in there, so we are sort of trying to keep descriptions brief, or if there's a link to go out to a more comprehensive description, then let's include that, and contact details so people can come back to you direct about it. And if there's any images or logos you want us to add to that, we can as well. So I think that's it from my intro. I'll pause there, and before we come to questions, we'll take questions after Chantelle updates for us. Sorry, my internet is really slow, something's happening in the background here. Well, Chantelle, I will hand over to you, and then we'll come back to any questions and stuff from the floor.
Okay, great. Can you see the slides?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. It's a real pleasure to share how Haringey is marking Great Mental Health this year. It's a particularly special moment as we celebrate 5 years since the very first Great Mental Health Day, which began right here before growing into a London-wide movement. For us, Great Mental Health Day has always been more than a single day. It reflects the relationships that we've built with residents, our community groups and partners who've really shaped what mental well-being looks like locally. And today I want to show how these relationships have deepened, how our partners continue to lead the way, and how this year's celebration strengthens well-being in both our communities and within our own workforce. So when the idea for Great Mental Health Day first emerged in 2020, we were in the midst of the pandemic. Across Haringey and London, people were experiencing isolation, uncertainty, and a significant decline in mental well-being. And many had lost loved ones, routines had disappeared, and the places that usually offered comfort or connection had been closed for a while. So in my conversation with council colleagues, councillors and community partners, there was really a shared feeling that we needed something hopeful, something that reminded people that they weren't alone. So together we asked, what could we create that brings joy, connection, and a sense of belonging at a time when mental health was under real strain, recognizing that there was no single solution because people's needs and circumstances varied widely. So that question led to the first Great Mental Health Day in 2021. And it began with local groups stepping forward. So, for example, ABC Parents, Mind in Haringey, faith organisations, youth organisations, and grassroots collectives. And of course, Thrive London and Good Thinking London championed the idea at a London level. So from the start, Great Mental Health Day was about raising awareness of existing mental health and wellbeing services and support offers, but also really about connection, celebration, and giving people a reason to step outside, talk to each other, and feel part of something positive again. And that community-led spirit is what has allowed Great Mental Health Day to grow into a London-wide celebration. In Haringey, our partners have been at the heart of the day from day one. So ABC Parents have consistently brought families into the centre of the day, creating warm, welcoming spaces where conversations about stress, isolation and well-being happen naturally. Mind in Haringey provides emotional support, practical tools and a trusted presence for residents who may not feel comfortable approaching statutory services. And our community champions, people who are rooted in neighbourhoods, cultural groups and local networks, play a really vital role in connecting residents to support, sharing trusted information and creating safe, familiar spaces for conversations about well-being. And our grassroots organisations, cultural groups, youth projects, faith communities really ensure that the day reflects the diversity, creativity and strengths of Haringey. And these partnerships are built on shared values, not transactions. And 5 years on, we're now at a point where partners come to us with ideas, often planning in advance. And that's truly the sign of a movement that belongs to the community. This year, we already have a rich programme of activities. So our flagship event is being led by ABC Parents, which will take place in Tottenham Community Sports Centre. It's free and it's open to families, parents, carers, and the wider community. And it's a full day dedicated to wellbeing, connection, and joy. And it's always a really lovely, positive, uplifting event. Doors open at 10, with activities including wellbeing workshops, dance, Reiki, meditation, arts and crafts, beginner sewing, fitness sessions, and a raffle. And lunch is provided. And the whole day is designed to be accessible, engaging, and uplifting. The event is supported by a broad range of partners, including Bridge Renewal Trust, Local Motion, ASDA, and the North Central London Integrated Care System. And we also have a movie night hosted by You versus You, which is an organisation supporting refugee and migrant young people aged 16 to 30 in collaboration with Mind in Haringey. And Mind will also be hosting mental health first aid sessions on the day. Our grassroots organisations are also celebrating the day in different ways, including a creative expression session using neographic art techniques, a visit to the Sky Garden and fun and games, and a community lunch. This year, we're also introducing a programme of wellbeing walks for Haringey Council staff. We know that colleagues work incredibly hard, often under significant pressure, and we want to model internally the same wellbeing principles that we are promoting externally. So the walks will take place throughout January in parks, high streets, and green spaces across the borough. And they offer staff a chance to step away from their desks, connect with each other, and experience the benefits of movement and fresh air. It's a really simple intervention, but it sends a clear message that well-being isn't an add-on. It's something we build into the rhythm of our working lives, and it aligns with our wider ambition to make Haringey a place where mental health is supported at every level. We're so incredibly fortunate in public health to have a dedicated comms support officer for Great Mental Health Day. So our comms lead, Robbie McDonald, is brilliant and works closely with us every year to coordinate photography, social media content, counsellor briefings, and key messages for partners. And having someone who understands the day and its purpose makes a huge difference. We're also supported by other council comms teams who help amplify the campaign across different channels. And of course, James and his team at Thrive London play a major role. Their annual toolkit with templates, graphics, suggested messaging and guidance ensures that councils, community organisations and local groups can get involved easily and more confidently. So thank you so much, James. The comms approach is genuinely collaborative, and it's designed to make participation as simple and accessible as possible. One of the biggest lessons, we've learned so many lessons over the past 5 years, but one of the biggest lessons is that Great Mental Health Day works best when activities feel natural to the community. They don't need to be large scale or complex to have an impact. Some boroughs have done simple things like group walks around the local area, a yoga class or a coffee morning, or just a cuppa and a chat, just really easy ways for people to connect. Others have tried creative sessions like painting, mindful art workshops, or group meditation. We've also seen safe spaces where people can talk openly about mental health, tours of local wellbeing services, drama workshops, open mic nights, poetry competitions, parent and baby exercise classes, even pet therapy sessions, and shared experience talks, and even small art exhibitions featuring local artists. So if you're thinking about what might work in your area, it can really be anything that brings people together. whatever fits the local context or the setting or the vibe of the place. The beauty of Great Mental Health Day is that it's flexible and every borough can shape it in a way that reflects its own strengths. So we're currently still gathering information about events planned across Haringey, and we know, as in previous years, that some events we'll only find out about afterwards, and some we may never, because they emerge organically, and some we may never even find out about, which is a sign of genuine community ownership. So we're really looking forward to the day, and just still busy planning. But looking beyond Great Mental Health Day, our focus is on carrying this momentum into the rest of the year. So we will continue strengthening partnerships, supporting community-led wellbeing activity, commissioning new things, and ensuring that our community champions remain visible in everyday places where people gather naturally. So over 5 years, Great Mental Health Day has really shown what's possible when mental health is built around the strengths and relationships and cultural richness that's already present in our communities. The learning from this journey is shaping our wider approach within the council to prevention, early help, and inclusive, culturally relevant support. And what really gives me optimism is how Great Mental Health Day has become part of the fabric of Haringey, something that residents recognise, look forward to, and feel ownership of. And this is especially due to the relationships that we've built across the NHS, voluntary sector, primary care, grassroots, and local organisations. And because of this, I'm confident that this celebration will continue for years to come. Most importantly, this work is improving mental well-being in ways that matter to Londoners, in their neighbourhoods, in trusted spaces, and through the relationships that sustain them. And as we look ahead, this is my invitation to all of you. Let's keep building this movement together, whether it's a small gathering, a creative workshop, a walk, or a community-led event. Every borough has the power to produce a Great Mental Health Day. Let's try and make 2026 the best one yet, and the year where every corner of London feels a part of Great Mental Health Day. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chantelle. That was loads and loads of really great ideas and some inspiring nuggets of information and bits that I guess that you've learned and picked up over the years, as well as what you're planning for 2026, which is great to see. I think there's a few bits in there before we move on to questions. I guess just looking at the sort of registration here, I mean, there's nearly 90 of us, and it's really great to see such a broad range of organisations and sectors and individuals sort of coming together this morning to learn a bit more about Great Mental Health Day. I think the bits that Chantelle has demonstrated is that actually this cuts right across. So there's some ideas in there that wherever you're coming from in this morning, there's bits in there that you can take away. I think the key bit as well that you mentioned was that thinking about an internal aspect, so looking at the workforce or how you support colleagues and staff, maybe an angle that we've not always used Great Mental Health Day for. It's often been quite an external facing event, but actually maybe there's something really key if people are considering something along those lines as well. I know ADPH London team have done bits of that in the past as well. But yeah, I think there's some great ideas in there. And I guess the other bit I suppose I'd leave people with is, yeah, as you said, Chantelle, you don't have to do everything. It's just trying to find something within that mix of things that might work or is already happening. And actually that's the key bit to this. This is, I guess, our rationale or reason for creating Great Mental Health Day is actually just to champion what is already happening. And then it was, as you said, at that point of time when we just needed to let communities know that support was already out there and people were already accessing it. So that's great. I'll give you, whilst you're starting to think, and Chantelle, I know you might have to jump off the call as well, so thank you for giving us your time this morning. We'll share the slides round as part of the follow-up with everybody, just because I think there's so much in there that people can take away.
Yeah.
And I guess if anyone's got any questions, I'm sure they can reach out to myself and the Thrive LDN team, but also maybe Chantelle yourself, if you're okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
That'd be fab. Right, I stop sharing that now. Yeah, I guess whilst maybe starting to think about any questions or comments or thoughts, or just want to use this as a way of sharing or testing ideas, please do that this morning. We've got plenty of time to do that. I guess before we sort of open the floor a bit, I thought sometimes it's useful to look back a little bit as well. So last year, we know there were around about 150 organisations that took part in some form of activity for Great Mental Health Day. And I think, Chantelle, you mentioned it really well. Actually, quite often stuff happens we're not always aware about until much further down the line, actually. And that, I think, is a really strong point to Great Mental Health Day. And that's kind of like should be the case. There are around 45 in-person events, but again, it doesn't have to be in person. There could be stuff that's sort of pulling people together in a slightly different way, but that was a really great demonstration. And I think we saw that probably across about 20 or so London boroughs. But there was 12,000 visits to the Thrive London website as part of Great Mental Health Day last year. So again, just thinking back to the resources and the training and that are on there, but also again, just to really emphasize that this is a platform for you to help promote what you're already up to. So, you know, that extra traffic coming through just to raise that sort of awareness. And there was a little bit of media coverage as well. So there's opportunities to sort of maybe reflect a little bit of where we got to last year. And as you said, Chantelle, in the fifth outing of Great Mental Health Day, hopefully we can sort of build on that. Right, I'll pause there. Are there any questions, thoughts, ideas, things people want to share? Please obviously just jump off mute or pop up a hand. Use this as a sort of opportunity to do that. I guess the main purpose as well was just to sort of really emphasize that it's on the horizon coming up, but you do use this as an opportunity to sort of pick up any of that. Bill, I think we've got first question from Shanjeet. Have I got that correct? Ray Round, sorry.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I want to share something. I've got a disability. We are disability-led organization, Sunshine of Hounslow and Ealing. So we're covering both areas. So we're growing a lot of organic food, and we engage many people with the disability and long-term ill health. And they has improved so much of our mental health. From last 13 years, we've been growing food and donating all the food to the local people who are housebound or in the wheelchair, so they can have a fresh food for free on their doorstep, and they can freeze it, use it on regular basis. Plus, we had 1,400 volunteers from the corporation companies to come and help us to keep growing the food. So, which is a brilliant project we have. But we are always looking for some more grants. For we want to run floristry classes for young moms and 3 generations, which we always run all the projects for 3 generations, most of them, so people can enjoy more and family togetherness and communicate more with the people, other people, and get some ideas how they can deal with the mental health. I mean, I've been in Britain over 46 years, and I've been on my own. I have all my family in back home. So I know how the isolation kills everybody slowly. Mental health is not a one-day problem, it's a daily problem for people uh, facing many challenges day-to-day life. So it's always nice to get out from the house and meet other people and find your ways to deal with it.
No, thank you for sharing. I think that sounds a really great initiative and definitely something to Ealing. I think I caught right at the beginning of what you were talking about. We can put that on, you know, details on the map
I've
there
done
as
that.
well. Yeah, perfect.
I've done that.
And but I mean, it's just made me think actually, because there is a really important point around Great Mental Health Day. If it doesn't fall exactly on the 30th of January, don't worry too much as well. You know, there's a kind of a sense of, again, it's that platform of trying to showcase what's already happening, so we can sort of add in some additional dates around that marker, just to sort of show that this is an initiative that people can get involved with locally.
Yeah, and we're doing that in Haringey as well. So there are lots of things in the weeks running, you know, people plan things in the weeks running up to it, or slightly after. So yeah, I've just kind of showcased some of the ones that are happening on the day, but actually, you know, we want things to continue as well.
Yeah, definitely, because it's that really important point that mental health doesn't just happen on the 30th of January. Actually,
Yeah,
this is about trying to sort of share that across the year, really.
definitely.
Brilliant, thank you. Penny.
Hi, so I'm from South East London Mind. Thank you for that. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the event uploads. So I have quite a lot of, we run quite a lot of services, and we'll have quite a lot of events. Is there any way that's easier for you for me to send those over, like a sheet or something?
Yeah, probably in a sort of maybe a Word doc instead.
Okay,
if
cool.
there's more than one. Yeah, it's a really great question, actually. So yeah, if people do have a number to share, then yeah, maybe it might be easier. But trying it as best you can, I suppose, just to keep in that structure, so
Okay,
it makes
great.
it a bit easier for us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Penny. Yeah, thanks for. I mean, we've been in touch. I know you've got some great ideas around how we can sort of utilize some of the services and local groups, really. And again, it's things that we're, I guess, through South East London Mind, it's a bit more obvious maybe, but there may be others on the call here who think, oh, well, we're not providing a mental health service or a mental health support group or something. But actually, the type of activity that you're doing is often a protective factor that is supporting someone's well-being more generally, or emotional well-being. So yeah, just I guess it's just that message back to people to sort of think about maybe stuff that's already happening and how that works.
Yeah,
Thanks,
great.
Penny.
Thank you.
Rosa.
Yeah, I wanted to just come in on that actually, and because I really like this year's theme, which is those everyday spaces. In that, quite often, as a former Haringey employee and helping support Great Mental Health Day, we had a lot of those questions as, I don't run a mental health support service, can I still get involved? And it was very much this year the theme, and always has been, a linking theme of those everyday spaces. So it could be those, community choirs, those football teams. Chantelle mentioned those cup of teas. And I really like that those everyday spaces aren't just the nice to have. Actually, those are quite often the sanctuaries where people, feel safe enough to say, I need some help. Or they could be the ones that build those relationships up. So we see, time and time again that people often turn to where they feel safe before they enter mental health services. So it's all about creating that community culture and delivering those everyday activities. So I just wanted to say well done on the theme this year. I think it really encapsulates everything that we tried to create in the previous years for Great Mental Health Day.
Yeah, thank you, Rosa. Yeah,
Thanks,
no,
Rosa.
yeah, and just really important points, really, for people to sort of consider. The theming as well as sort of didn't just spring up, I guess. There was quite a bit of work that's been happening across the year, well, across 2025, that did quite a lot of focus group work, quite a lot of more in-depth discussion with sort of organisations at a sort of grassroots level that Thrive London were involved in earlier in the year, and we're looking at actually. It came through the sort of research and through those conversations as often labelled like informal services, or places where people sort of go that don't feel like a clinic or don't feel like an appointment. And I think that was where we've sort of started to build this out a little bit more, and just to champion that really at a local level. Are there any other questions? Or I'm just having a quick look through the chat. It looks great that there's been a little bit of sort of people engaging with each other in there, which is fab. If you haven't already, do feel free to pop in your name and contact details and where you're from. It might just help people spot other colleagues or partners and how to sort of get involved. Paul.
Hi James, hi everyone. Paul Hudson. I'm a programme and policy officer at Southwark Council. I've just had an idea that I think it'd be good to share the form you have at the bottom of the page where people can submit what they're doing with some of our BCS groups. And I was just wondering if you or anyone else has ever put together some wording that can go out to different groups just on kind of what the day's about and the kind of things that people can put down in the form.
That's a really, really good point and question. I think we probably have, but let me fish that back out, because and I'm sort of going to make a bit of a verbal note to Kim, who's introduced herself in the chat, but we maybe build that into the supporters pack. So actually those people in that Paul, such as yourself or other boroughs, where you maybe want to use this as a way to get back out to community or VCS organisations, then yeah, we can provide a bit of a suggested blurb or copy that can help with that. That's great. The other
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. The other thing that's just sort of come back to my mind is we're a bit of an open question really for people to take away. We do have a sort of suite of images that we'll reuse for this year and some new ones. But if anybody's got any images that sort of, I guess, showcase the spirit of Great Mental Health Day, groups, organisations, Londoners coming together, then and the consent and the use of those would be okay for us to use as part of the broader Great Mental Health Day promotion, then please do get in touch with us on the Thrive London email address, and we're obviously always happy to sort of credit or tag or attribute that image back to the organisation, as long as that image is we're able to use, the people in the image are okay for us to use that. But yeah, just because I think there's so much that sort of happens across London, we're not always sort of capturing that in a visual sense, so it'd be great to sort of utilise others. Just a thought that came to me there. Were there any other questions or queries or ideas to test? We will send this recording round and some notes and contact details. So obviously after this, if anything does come to mind, do feel free to come back. Shanji, come back in.
Yeah, I think it's very important to tackle some issues on young people's mental health, because I have noticed quite a number of the young people gone to uni and then they committed suicide there. I mean, did the parents maybe didn't recognize the issue they had? So I think this issue need to be highlighted, that the sports should be available as young as school days, and then they can carry on to get the sport, whoever the young children are getting into this issue, to protect them. Maybe if there is some highlighted sport available, they might be able to follow and gain some help from the specialist, rather than not all the parents are educated for this sort of issues, and they don't have a training into for the mental health. So if the youngsters have reach out to the other help available, which will save a lot of lives, I feel is very important.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The flagship event I mentioned for Haringey is being led by ABC Parents, which is an organisation which specifically helps parents and children together. So, it really is important work being done in that space, and that will be a major event for us in Haringey, and it's always really well attended and has lots of really useful information for parents about a whole host of different issues, and for children as well. But yeah, you're right. It's a really important issue.
Very good. I mean, some of the families have only one child, and then when that child committed suicide, I've seen my son's age children, they were used to go to school with him, gone to uni, committed suicide, the only child, single mother, and they don't know, the parents don't know which way to go. Their sport is not enough available for them.
So
I mean, it's devastating for the families who going through all this.
So there are, across different London boroughs, there are also post-vention support services to support families and individuals who've been impacted by suicide, who've been bereaved due to suicide. So it might be that there is one in your local area. We certainly have one across North Central London to support
It's
people.
limited. It's limited because I push my council a lot for this. I'm also a bereavement counselor. I've been practicing over 35 years. The hospitals, Brompton Hospital, do send me referrals quite regular, but the issue needs to be highlighted within all the areas so we can save more youngsters. I mean, imagine the family has to go through. Not one person die, the whole family is a killer for the rest of the family as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to do more to advocate, I guess, across London.
Yeah, no, thank you both. I think, really, really important points. I think the bit, I guess, to sort of add to that, although slightly separately but related, is that, yeah, just to make the point, the Great Mental Health Day is is for all. So we have engaged with schools and colleges and others in the past, and yeah, I guess just that point around I know there are organisations on this call who work with children, young people. So yeah, it's definitely an event that supports sharing those wider services. Just before we come to Right to Thrive UK, the bit I put in the chat there as well is a link to a website called Hub of Hope, which is included on the map page as part of the wider signposting, and in there as well you can access a range of services, not just mental health, but a range of support directory, and that's also split between under 25s, adults, and those who may need more urgent or emergency help. So again, just as that sort of point around it being a useful opportunity just to remind people of those urgent support services as well. Right to Thrive, I couldn't say a name, but I'm just going to introduce you as
good. Yes. Good morning, colleagues. Fantastic event, campaign and platform. Yeah, my organization will be participating because we want to get Black men talking about their well-being. My generation, I grew up where mental health wasn't a thing you talk about. So the work Chantelle and you involve in is amazing. So I just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity, and so we can reach out to those marginalized communities. Where I was told one time when I approached a family member, said, "Well, Colin, you're going to have to get on with it. Pick yourself up, dust yourself down." So I've always felt if you had a well-being issue, you just have to pick yourself up and brush yourself down and get on with it. But this platform given us the opportunity to talk about it. So this is our team is it's okay to talk, getting our men, young men and elders like myself to talk about it, bringing well-being space to let's open up, because I never used to talk about it. It's only because recently I started to talk about it because I felt it was safe to talk about it, and other people like myself experienced similar challenges. So thank you again for bringing us together.
Oh, well, thank you for all the work you're doing, and yeah, great that this is hopefully a platform that helps that as well. And I mean, I think there's a really important point though around Great Mental Health Day. It is a sort of regional wide event, but equally it can also be something that's really localized, and actually we can really sort of drill down to support a particular community or particular group or a particular whether that's geographical or slightly different. So yeah, I think kind of really hopefully people are using Great Mental Health Day for that and to sort of aid and better that really. But yeah, thank you. There's some great additional bits in the chat where people are sharing on the back of Shanjit's point, which is excellent. Thank you for sharing those. We'll collate all this as well as part of the notes and send that out. There's a question around problem solving booths. The short answer is no, but there is a toolkit on how to run those yourself on the website. So if that's a helpful thing to include, we can add that. So that might be something people want to have a look at as well for the day.
Sorry, James, that was me. Hello, Joy.
That you, Joy?
Hello, everybody. This is so brilliant to see all of you. How fantastic and how uplifting to hear all the shares and what work's going on. My goodness. Yeah, we adopted problem solving booths a while back, and it's been used at umpteen events. And for anybody who hasn't had a go, it's brilliant. 2 chairs, a bit of cardboard, and people willing to sit and chat and swap with each other. It feels like the easiest thing in the world. So I would encourage it to be used as part of events that are going on as well. Just a wee corner with a couple of chairs and some cardboard that says help and helper. And it's been great. It's been really brilliant. So, and thanks for all the work, everyone.
Thanks, Joy. And yeah, no, great that great one to remind us about. Actually, we'll include that those details when we share. I think there was a point, Colin, if I caught your name correctly, from Right to Thrive UK, just there, that just made me think as well. I think there's quite a lot of research and conversation and critique around awareness days, generally speaking. And I guess I just want to sort of labour, I guess, a couple of points. One, that we're sort of trying to label this less as an awareness day and more as a regional event, because actually where it's done well and where it's done right, actually raising a awareness of what's already happening, but making sure it's timely and that support is there is the key to making sure that has the impact. I think, as you mentioned, I think trying to move away from just that bit around it's okay to not be okay, but then where's the support if that is the case, and how do we make sure people can access that? And everyone on the call here is pretty much involved in that. So I guess that's the sort of other bit. The final bit I'd sort of leave with on the Great Mental Health Day point is, if we don't, and I've said it already on this call once already, but if we don't tell people about it, they don't know it's happening. It's not a global, it's not a national event. It's something that we are developing in London. We've seen it go a little bit further in London, obviously, but so please, great to have so many join the call this morning, almost 90 of us. So you're our spokespeople for Great Mental Health Day, and please do champion that and use it. Keep in touch, get in touch if you've got any more questions or thoughts or ideas. It's great to see people starting to connect in the chat already. That's maybe another point, is around using this as an opportunity to sort of partner up or not. Maybe don't reinvent the wheel, I guess, is the key bit. The other bit I was going to leave colleagues with, and it's on the agenda, so I'll put it in the chat and just very briefly mention, there is a sort of another campaign that's running in London. It's from Mayor of London's office. It's Loved and Wanted. It's been running for a little while. People may have seen this. Shanji, I'll come back to you in just a second. And effectively, there's a lot of alignment, I think, with some of the messaging in Loved and Wanted and the spirit of Great Mental Health Day. So it was mainly just to sort of share that with colleagues, so there's a bit of a wider awareness. But there's some resources as part of the Loved and Wanted campaign that may be helpful for people, and that was the main reason for wanting to share that, including, I guess, more of a statement piece and messages from the Mayor as well around using and seeing the diversity in London as an asset and actually something that's positive. And I think we see that a lot through Great Mental Health Day, so that was the main reason for sort of wanting to put that on the agenda today as well.
And I just
Shanti,
wanted to say, just a really big thank you to everyone who's ever been involved in organising Great Mental Health Day activities or participated them, because it really has been just such a collective effort, and it's grown, and it's just wonderful to see the outcomes. And like I said, it really has become the part of the fabric in Haringey, and it just feels like it comes at the right time in the calendar. People like having something to look forward to in January, so we get really positive feedback about that. So just wanted to say huge thank you, and I hope all of your events go really, really well this year, however big, however small. I hope they just go wonderfully.
Thank you, Chantelle, for that final rally cry. Really, that's really, really positive. We've got two final questions, which we'll squeeze in. Shanjit and then Penny. I don't know if that was a hand or an accidental. Shanjit, come on first.
Yeah, I think mine was hand by accident, but we also needed to look for more grants to support more and more people. The community groups are the best option for the community to be engaged with. And if there's more grants available to keep people busy on regular basis, which will help them to go somewhere to get over their hurdles and hard times, and also learn from each other. There's so many people like myself have got so many certified skills which we can deliver within the community. I'm sure there's so many other organizations who are specialized in something all the time. It's good to support. So if there's any grants are available, please share with the emails groups if anybody knows anything going on to save other people as well. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk.
No, not at all. No, really, really important points, all of them. And that last one, particularly, I think there's really, really key thing to say, actually, that, we're sort of, I guess, providing the infrastructure for Great Mental Health Day, but conscious that, a lot of those activities are at that voluntary community sector or grassroots level, and are definitely conscious and aware and acknowledge that accessing funds to run those things is often quite difficult and quite a challenge. So yes, maybe something to leave with us. We can have a look at, and Penny shared something really helpful there as well. Maybe sort of how we can signpost people in to where there may be available additional funds or whatnot. There's maybe just a wider separate piece to Great Mental Health Day, but useful whilst we've got that momentum. Okie doke. Was there anything else from anybody else before we wrap up? Any other things to share? Any other business, if you want to keep it in that slightly formal sense? Thank you again for putting the time in this morning, and great to see so many still on the call 55 minutes into things. Hopefully this was helpful. We will share some notes out. There's a lot of information already on the website, but if you can't find what you're looking for, do come back to us. Always sort of keen to try and help have a conversation and steer things, and let us know. Do let us know if you're doing anything, and we'll try and capture that as best we can. Okay, doke. If there's nothing else, we'll leave that there. Keep in touch, and yeah, looking forward to seeing activities and events and plans as they emerge. Thank you everyone for putting this in this morning, and hope you all have a great rest of the week, and speak soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you.